Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram.
Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jaya Gaura Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Gaura Premanande. Which canto? We have 7 cantos. Hold on a second.
So we have until what time? How long? What's the normal schedule? Okay. Hare Krishna. So it's wonderful to see all of you after a long time. Okay. And by the request of the senior Vaishnavas, we're going to be reading from the 7th canto, 9th chapter, prayers of Sri Prahlad Maharaj, text 11. And before doing that, we will be offering our prayers to Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. Om Agyantamirandasya Gyanandana Shalokaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All together please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhutai Mahat Prema Puro Vibhur Nirmaya Kshatiyadamusha Purusha Bhunkte Ganan Sada Sada Satmaka Yalang Krishista Bhagavan Vachamsi Me. I think it's part 2. You have part 2? Om Namah Bhagavate Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naivatmana Prabhurayam Nijalabhapurnam. Naivatmana Prabhurayam Nijalabhapurnam. Manam Janata Tvidusha Karuna Vrinite. Manam Janata Tvidusha Karuna Vrinite. Yadyajjano Bhagavate Vidathitamanam. Yadyajjano Bhagavate Vidathitamanam. Tachatmane Pratimukhasya Yatha Mukhasya. Tachatmane Pratimukhasya Yatha Mukhasya. Naivatmana Prabhurayam Nijalabhapurna. Manam Janata Vidusha Karuno Vrinite. Yadya Jana Bhagavate Vidathitamanam. Tachatmane Pratimukhasya Yatha Mukhasya. Naivatmana Prabhurayam Nijalabhapurna. Manam Janata Vidusha Karuna Prinite.
Yadyajjano Bhagavate Vidadhitamanam.
Yadyajjana Bhagavate Vidadhitamanam. Tachatmane Pratimukhasya Yatha Mukhasya. Naivatmana Prabhurayam Nijalabhapurna. Manam Janata Vidusha Karuna Vrinite. Yadyajjana Bhagavate Vidadhitamanam. Tachatmane Pratimukhasya Yatha Mukhasya. Any ladies, please?
Aman Ragi or Jairade, where is she? Can you see from here? I really get all the ladies to say together. All the ladies say together.
Devatmana Prabhur Ayam Nijalabhapurno.
Prabhurayam Nijalabhapurna.
Manam Janat Avidusha Karuno Vrinite.
Manam Janata Vidusha Karuna Vrinite.
Yadyajjano Bhagavate Vidita Manam.
Yadyajjana Bhagavate Vidadhitamanam.
Tachatmane Pratimukhasya Yatha Mukhasriha.
Tachatmane Pratimukhasya Yatha Mukhasya. Thank you. Synonyms, please repeat. Na, not. Eva, certainly. Atmanaha, for his personal benefit. Bravo, Lord. Ayam, this. Nijalabha Purnaha is always satisfied in himself. He does not need to be satisfied by the service of others. Manam, respect. Janat, from a person. Avidushaha, who does not know that the aim of life is to please the Supreme Lord. Karunaha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is so kind to this foolish, ignorant person. Vrinite, accepts. Yat yat, whatever. Janaha, a person. Bhagavate, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vidadhita, may offer. Manam, worship. Tat, that. Cha, indeed. Atmane, for his own benefit. Pratimukhasya, of the reflection of the face in the mirror. Yadha, just as. Mukhashrihi, the decoration of the face. Translation purported by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in Himself. Therefore, when something is offered to Him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee, for the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. Purport. In Bhakti Yoga, it is recommended that a devotee follow 9 principles. Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. This service of glorifying the Lord by hearing, chanting, and so on is not, of course, meant for the benefit of the Lord. This devotional service is recommended for the benefit of the devotee. The Lord is always glorious, whether the devotee glorifies Him or not. But if the devotee engages in glorifying the Lord, the devotee himself automatically becomes glorious. Chetodarpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. By glorifying the Lord constantly, the living entity becomes purified in the core of his heart, and thus he can understand that he does not belong to the material world, but is a spirit soul whose actual activity is to advance in Krishna consciousness so that he may become free from the material clutches. Thus, the blazing fire of material existence is immediately extinguished. Bhava maha davagni nirvapanam. A foolish person is amazed that Krishna orders sarvadharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja, abandon all varieties of religious activities and just surrender unto me. Some foolish scholars even say that this is too much to demand, but this demand is not for the benefit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, rather it is for the benefit of human society. If human beings individually and collectively surrender everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in full Krishna consciousness, all of human society will benefit. One who does not dedicate everything to the Supreme Lord is described in this verse as avidusha, a rascal. In Bhagavad Gita 7:15, the Lord Himself speaks in the same way. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadente naradama Mayaparita Jnana Suram Bhavam Ashitaha, those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Because of ignorance and misfortune, the atheists and the Naradhamas, the lowest of men, do not surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is full in himself, he appears in different yugas to demand the surrender of the conditioned souls so that they will benefit by becoming free from the material clutches. In conclusion, the more we engage in Krishna consciousness and render service unto the Lord, the more we benefit. Krishna does not need service from any of us. Hare Krishna. Daivatmana prabhurayam nijalava purna manam janata vidusha karuna vrinite yadyajana bhagavate vidadhita manam tachatmane prachimukhasya yathamukhashri. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. So this is very wonderful verse, and Haridas Prabhu suggested that verse. This is very fundamental understanding in Krishna consciousness that we are serving the Supreme Lord, but actually, does he need our service? Is he requiring our cooking if Yashoda and Srimati Radharani are cooking for him in Goloka Vrindavan? So comparing to their cooking, our cooking, how to politely describe it, may not be so attractive. Or if he is enjoying the kirtans offered by his close associates like gopis, can our kirtans match or stand in comparison? Very unlikely. At least for myself, I'm thinking how the Lord still smiles when I'm doing the kirtan. He should be frowning. And so, actually, he doesn't require anything. But whatever he does is for us. And it's very interesting how we learn about it gradually. I remember when I came one of the first times to the program, to the house program, that was not in Russia, but in Georgia, also a joint place next to Russia, and the hosts were also quite young, quite new to Krishna consciousness, and they were asking one of the senior leaders that we want to offer apple pie to Krishna. And how do we offer it? Do we offer the whole thing, or do we cut the piece and offer it to the Lord? And when I heard about this, and I never knew how it works, I was thinking, if they offer the whole thing and Krishna will eat it all, we'll have nothing for ourselves. And I was very relieved when this senior devotee said, it's sufficient to offer one piece of the pie to the Lord. And I was thinking, okay, let Krishna take his piece. Well, we'll have the rest. But, in reality, we are cooking And for Krishna, we're supposed to have first-class products and everything the best standards. And then we offer it to Krishna, but does the preparation disappears? Of course not. Of course, sometimes it may disappear. In case of very, very advanced Vaishnavas, like Raghunandan, for example, and few other great souls, who actually demanded that the Lord should physically eat whatever they offered. But in general, the Lord knows very well that why do we offer him prasadam? Well, Boga, because we want to enjoy prasadam. And he says, okay, I know it's good, take it and enjoy. And so whatever we do is for our benefit. And you take any aspect of Krishna consciousness. Just yesterday, I think, or day before in Birmingham, we were discussing 4 regulative principles, right? And we all know what these principles are. No meat, fish, eggs, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. And just for a second, think of so many troubles these activities are creating, right? Intoxications. How many people's lives are ruined by intoxications, right? People struggle so much to give it up and still they cannot, right? They destroy everything. I mean, I remember I was here, well, in London, I was taking a train to go somewhere. And one man comes to me and he says, "Are you a monk?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Does it actually help in life?" I said, "Oh yeah, of course it helps. Otherwise, why would I practice it?" And he said, "I need your advice. I don't know what to do with my life." I said, "Yeah, sure." And I think this is why, you know, Srila Prabhupada was saying it's good when we are dressed in devotee dress, because people can recognize who we are, right? Otherwise, if I would be dressed in civil attire, probably he would just pass by. And we were going together, and he described his life in a nutshell. He was, you know, he had a good job, big house, a family, everything an average person can desire in life. But he had a problem, a drinking habit. And no matter what he did, he couldn't give it up. So he kept drinking and drinking and drinking. And finally, his boss got fed up with him. And he said, "I don't want to keep you anymore." So he was fired with a very bad, you know, record in his CV. And he realized no one will take him with that record, right? And he came back home, and his wife, upon learning the news, she said, "I fed up with your drinking and your behavior as well. I don't want to see you. Get out of the house." And so one day, he lost his house, he lost his family, he lost his job, and he lost any hope for any future. That's material life, right? This is what intoxication can do to the person. And we were driving, we were sitting on the coach, and he was asking, "So what do I do with my life? You know, it's all over." And I was going to commit suicide, but I just happened to see you, and I wanted to ask, you know, like, whether it's a good idea. Because my life is over. And I said, "No, it's not, because actually, like, we are on the train, and some places we are passing by are very beautiful, and some places we might be passing by some, trash, damp, trash field or whatever, something which is ugly. And so we're not jumping off the train by seeing something nice or something ugly. So it's just passing by. And so in life, there are so many, events, but it will all pass by. And the most important thing is to understand what this life is meant for. And of course, I was discussing with him, the topics from Bhagavad Gita, and eventually he got Bhagavad Gita. He promised to read it and try to change his life. And of course, I recommended him trying to chant Hare Krishna mantra. So we haven't met, but I hope Krishna took care of him. And so, but there are so many people whose life is totally ruined by intoxications, right? Drinking, what to speak of drugs, and gambling seem to be something very mellow, but actually attachment or addiction to gambling, psychologists say, is worse than drugs. And there are so many people who are so addicted to gambling, and they, like old people, for example, and they get their pension not very large, and they go and they gamble it away, and they starve for the whole month. And then they get another pension, and again they go and gamble it away, and they starve. And they cry tears, and they realize they caught by this attachment, but they cannot give it up. So many. I mean, illicit sex, you can write volumes of books about the troubles illicit sex creates, right? Starting from venereal diseases, abortions, crime based on, jealousy, etc., etc. Unlimited troubles illicit sex creates. What to speak of, perpetual material bondage, having to receive more and more material bodies. And of course, meat eating. We don't want even to start with it. As a famous Russian writer, Leo Tolstoy, he was saying, as long as there are slaughterhouses, the wars will never end. People may not know it due to their ignorance, but this is the law of karma. Killing animals results in people killing each other. And it's very interesting. Now, of course, the political situation is as intense as we can imagine. And it was all building up, and, I found very interesting piece of statistics that since the end of the Second World War, 1945, and until today, almost 88 years have passed. Do you know how many peaceful days we had on the planet within those 88 days? You will never be able to guess. 26 peaceful days only. And probably most of those 26 days happened right after the end of the Second World War, because everyone was too exhausted and too depleted from fighting, so they took a little break. But after they recovered a little bit, the fighting resumed. So this is the reality of Kali Yuga, right? That's why Kali Yuga is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And why there is so much fighting, why there is so much violence and killing? Simple. Slaughterhouses, right? So many innocent animals lose their lives, and karmic reaction is that people have to die in the same way. Also be slaughtered on a massive scale. And it's very interesting that the present war, right, which is happening on the territory of Ukraine, and one of the worst places which suffered the effects of the war, I mean, it's still going, there could be even worse cases, but up to date, it was one coastal city which is called Mariupol. And basically speaking, the population of this city was under 500,000, less than 500,000. At least 100,000 civilians died in the clash. So, you know, at least 1 out of 5 is dead. And we had, and we still have, you know, quite a sizable, quite a large devotee community in Mariupol. And many of them went through the whole experience of bombing and you know, all these disasters. Very interesting. We went there, we interviewed those devotees. They were sharing their experiences of surrendering unto Krishna in such extreme circumstances. These devotees are amazing. They're real saints. But the surprising thing, large devotee community, not a single devotee died. Everyone survived. So this shows, right? Raki Krishna Marike, Mari Krishna Raki, that devotees are different from materialistic people, and Krishna is taking care. Of course, we're all gonna die one way or the other, but devotees will always have an advantage, because there is a huge difference, and this is one of the scary things, right, for people, that death, because people are always afraid to lose something, right, whether it is wallet or whatever, some possession or health or some family member, but death is an experience when we lose everything, right? We lose every single bank account, every single piece of our property, and every single relative and every single part of our body, everything at once, right? This is called death. That's why for people death is horrendous experience. And so we might say, as Srila Prabhupada was making the point, that deathlessness, this is how he defined it, deathlessness starts at the point of initiation. So when one fully surrenders unto Krishna, this is the path of immortality. And so we say that materialistic people are dying, but devotees are not. But someone may ask how that's different, right? Because devotees also living their bodies, but there is a vast difference between living the body and dying. And difference is as follows, that, you know, before coming here to the temple, you were all at home, right? And then you decided to leave your home to come here. Why? Because so many reasons. Nice devotee association, nice kirtans, nice discussions, nice prasadam after all. So many reasons to leave home and come to the temple, right? And such a beautiful temple. I'm very impressed, you know, that there is a huge difference. The whole place is so bright now and impressive. Yeah, it's true. And this is called living. You know, if you compare your home with your body, so you left your home to come here, right? So in the same way, devotees leave their body. Why? Because they have better place to go to. But materialists die. That's completely different story. It's like one of the guys who are plenty, even in Coventry, sitting at his house, you know, on maybe Friday night or something, and having his whatever, you know, unspeakable food and drink, and watching one-eyed guru, some, you know, sports or something, whatever they watch, it doesn't matter. And relaxing, right? After hard day of work, relaxing, getting his, as he's thinking, well-deserved rest. And, you know, feeling pretty peaceful or blissful, whatever. And then there is a very loud and demanding knock at the door, right? Like we had experience. You know, devotees had, you know, while we were preparing to go, devotees decided to do little kirtan at the house, and one devotee brought his djembe and was playing djembe. And, you know, there is a very loud knock in the door, and they didn't hear it because they were fully absorbed. I heard it from the second floor, so I came down. I said, you know, there is a knock in the door. So devotees opened it up, and then I discovered it was infuriated neighbor. You know, elderly lady who was shouting and screaming, "Why are you playing your music so loud? You know, I want to, you know, take rest on Sunday," etc. But, you know, the knocking was so loud, you know, the whole building was shaking. I was thinking this is police or something trying to break the door. So that lady seemed to be really angry. And so luckily I didn't saw her. Otherwise I would be, you know, too stressed to give a class. Anyway.
Should have brought the lady here.
So you can imagine, you know, this guy, whoever, John Block, is sitting in his place and relaxing, and then there is a very loud knocking at the door, and he's thinking, who the hell is that? And then he goes to answer the door, but then he's seeing that actually the door is bending under the blows, and he gets scared. And apparently they, you know, knock not just with their hands, or not with their fists, but with something, you know, some heavy tools, and try to break the door. And he is shocked, what's happening? And then the door is bending more and more, and finally the door breaks open. And whom does he see behind the door? Horrible monsters with, you know, red bloodshot eyes and fangs and, you know, claws. And they have ferocious dogs on the chains, and the dogs are barking and trying to jump on the man, and he's saying, who are you? What are you? What do you want? And then they say, we came to get you. And then they, you know, with chains, they bind him up, and then they drag him down the stairs. And he's shouting and screaming, and the dogs are biting him, and he's shouting and screaming, and he doesn't know what's happening, but he understands that if this is the beginning, the, you know, end will be much worse than that. And this is not just a fairy tale. This is something which is happening in Coventry every single day, right? Yamadutas are coming and taking sinful people away to Yamaraj for judgment. And that's why At the moment of death, many people are shouting and screaming because they see those who came to get them away, right? To take them away. And so we can understand, superficially it might look similar, right? Death and leaving the body by the devotees, but there is a vast difference between the two, because for materialist, he doesn't know where he goes, but he understands that it's some terrible place, right? And it is true. So for materialist, death means it's all over. It's a horrible, event. The most horrible event in his life, death. But for devotee, it's the beginning of real life, full of eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. And sometimes devotees, at the verge of so-called death, and there were some cases even in here in UK, they say, I cannot wait, because, it's like Mother Ratnaranjani from Scotland, and some devotees probably familiar.
Also George Harrison.
George Harrison as well. So, yeah, so many devotees. And yeah, at least this little booklet, Simple for the Simple, right? Very powerful description of her life and how she departed. How many of you have read that little booklet? Anyone? Okay, very few devotees. I highly recommend. It's very interesting that towards the end, Simple for the Simple. Yeah, towards the end, she had cancer and it was terminal. And devotees were taking care of her, and before she left the body, just a little bit prior to that, she totally lit up, as if there was a light inside of her. And she was so blissful. And devotees were looking at her and they couldn't understand what kind of transformation is happening to her. And they started asking, you look so happy, can you please share? And she was a little shy, she didn't want to do it, but then devotees were, begging, and then she actually agreed to tell them. She said, this is very confidential, but I actually see where I'm going. I see Goloka Vrindavana, I see Radha Krishna, I see all their associates, and I see myself. I see myself in a form of a very young girl helping gopis in their services. And I cannot wait to leave this bag of bones and go there. So that's leaving the body, right? For materialistic person, that means end of everything. For devotee, it's the beginning of real life. So it's like a birthday, leaving the body. So that's why there is a vast difference between the lives of devotees and materialistic people. And Krishna is encouraging the devotees, or everyone actually, to take up to Krishna consciousness, just because he wants all of us to enjoy a lot of fun with him. Krishna, there is a good reason why he is always smiling, because he has good life. He doesn't work. He doesn't do anything he doesn't like. He's just enjoying life. He is the supreme enjoyer. This is how Srila Prabhupada defines Krishna, right? It's interesting, right, that sometimes we are, of course, we're saying Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it's very interesting, this phrase, Supreme Personality of Godhead, because He's the Supreme, But, when we speak of God, God means one who creates, maintains, destroys, controls, the supreme controller. That's the definition of God. But Krishna is not bothered by these things. Krishna neither bothers creating, maintaining, or destroying anything. He has his different forms, like 3 Vishnus, right? Karnakashaya Vishnu, Kshavdakashaya Vishnu, Garbhatakashaya Vishnu. They are doing all this stuff. And of course, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. So he has other personalities, other expansions to take care of all this. And he's just enjoying. So if we are to say who is Krishna, we can safely say, well, Krishna is one cowherd boy living in Vrindavan village. He plays the flute, he tends the cows, he has good time. And on the way, he is the source of all forms of God. But he is just, simple cowherd boy. And so, very interesting, Krishna's position. And so he's enjoying, and what he wants all of us to have fun with him. And that's why he wants us to take up to the process of devotional service, right? Not because he is lacking anything, but because he wants to see us happy. And it's very interesting, on every step of the way you can see that. When Vidura Prabhu was mentioning about the pandemic, 3 years of pandemic, 2 years of pandemic, and other disasters, material world troubles come one after another. And so when pandemic started, I got stuck at Bhaktivedanta Manor. And because I was planning to start my round the world, number 15. Could never do that because of the pandemic. And so it started because devotees came together for the funeral of Shruti Dharma Prabhu, and so many devotees got infected. We heard that there is some kind of, virus somewhere in China. No one expected it to get spread that fast all over. And so we didn't expect that. And after another, the devotees at the manor congregation started getting sick. The leaders decided to isolate all the temple devotees, shut the temple down. And for a while, we were thinking that we are safe because we are isolated, quarantined. But then, like a couple of things were going on hand in hand. First of all, we were getting news of more and more congregation devotees getting very sick, and then getting severe, and then getting critical, and then leaving the body. And I'm not sure what the exact numbers are, maybe 25 or about 20, 25 congregation devotees from manor alone left their bodies because of the pandemic. And it was like at the manor they have this, they putting the pictures of the devotees who are either in critical condition or left their bodies so that devotees would pray for them. And every day, the number of pictures was growing and growing and growing. It was like full row of devotees left their bodies or about to leave their bodies. It was like a, war field. everyone's dying around. And then we started seeing the temple devotees also getting sick and quarantining themselves. And we were thinking, you know, that's it, that we're also infected. And, you know, even though we were told, you know, use precautions, masks and everything, but we were associating pretty close with each other, and, you know, it was too late already to do anything about it. And we came together and we spoke and we decided, you know, that's it, what can we do? Whoever's number will come up will have to go, right? And there is no use of lamenting about it, because we cannot change anything. The only thing we can do is try to be as Krishna conscious as possible in these circumstances. So, you know, let's just have fun. You know, if we have only a few days left, let us have good fun, you know, good kirtans, good prasadam, good discussions. So we just went for it. You know, we had kirtans, amazing kirtans, you know, because we had basically nothing else to do. You know, and we were waiting, you know, who will go first. And then, you know, some devotees, of course, their health, their immune system was strong, but one devotee, his health was so fragile. And we were thinking, if he will get infected, that's it. He won't survive. And he got infected. And he was so bad, he had to be taken to the hospital. But at that time, you know, the doctors also had no idea what to do. So devotees brought him to the hospital. The doctor said, you know, we have no cure for this thing. So, and, you know, all the hospitals are full. You might just take him back to the temple. So devotees took him back. He stayed in his room for a couple of days and recovered. And he was back, you know, chanting and dancing with us in Kirtan. So, and devotees were getting sick for a very short while, and nothing happened to anyone. You know, not a single temple devotee was even in critical condition. And, you know, in retrospect and discussing with devotees, we were thinking, you know, like probably many people who left their bodies, they left due to grief or fear, perhaps, you know, more than pandemic. So because mind is very strong. Mind is really strong thing. I mean, there is one interesting instance at a railway hub. One worker was serving, you know, refrigerator coaches. And so he was passing, he entered into one refrigerator coach. He wanted to do something or whatever. And he stayed inside. Meanwhile, another worker passed by, and he was thinking that this door just was left open, and he shut the door, he slammed the door. And this poor guy was left inside of the refrigerator coach. And, you know, this railway hubs, there is so much noise around, so he was shouting, screaming, no one heard him. Oh, you know, no one came to his rescue, so he had to stay overnight in that coach, and in the morning he was found dead, frozen to death. But the interesting thing was that this coach was disconnected from the power, and so inside there was a room temperature. But because the man was staying inside and his mind was telling him, you are inside of the refrigerator, so you're freezing to death, he actually froze to death in room temperature. You know, he had all the symptoms of what you call it, hypothermia. Yeah, hypothermia. So This is what the mind is doing. You know, if you tell yourself you're that, mind will make sure that it will actually happen. So it's very interesting. But because, you know, we just didn't care, we were already ready, okay, let's go. If it will happen, it will happen, and nothing happened. So, and yeah, I mean, we were lucky because we were in a lockdown with Radha Gokulananda and Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman, Gaur Nitai, Srila Prabhupada, and so many cows and many wonderful Vaishnavas, so we had great time at the lockdown. And yeah, unfortunately, not all the devotees had that fortune. And so, yes, there are many aspects we can discuss how Krishna consciousness really benefits us in every single respect. And of course, Srila Prabhupada gives examples from Shikshashtakam, the first prayer of Shikshashtakam, 7 very powerful blessings we're getting by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, right? And I'm sure many devotees know this verse by heart. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam sheyakairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavathu jivanam anandamudivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam. So the first blessing is Cheto Darpanamarjanam. What it means? Yeah, cleansing of the heart. And so, cleanliness is really important, right? That even the doctors are saying that practically all the diseases, they come because of the lack of cleanliness, right? Whether our bodies are contaminated or our minds are contaminated. And that's why if we cleanse our hearts, our bodies, of course, become also clean. Because heart and, you know, the mind and the body are connected. And so we become free from so many troubles in life, right? And second benefit is Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, which means great fire of material existence gets extinguished. And so what is this fire? The fire of material desire, right? People, they want everything and they want it now. Who was singing that? I want it all and I want it now? Huh? Yeah. The Queen, yeah, okay. Yeah, Freddie Mercury, that's right. Yeah, so many years have passed since. Actually, I have to admit I was collecting the vinyl in my youth, yeah. Once I joined the movement, I forgot about it. I don't even know what happened to that collection, and I don't even care to know. Like that, yeah, but this is the material life, right? That I want everything and I want it now. But devotees becoming free from those desires. And if you are free from desires, Maya cannot catch you on its hook, right? Because you're not biting on the bait. Like we were taking flights and we go through that duty-free area, right? And what they sell in the poison, right? Poison in different packages. And what is just passing by, okay, it's poison, it's not for me. But people pass by, they think, oh, it's nectar. Let me buy it as much as I can. It's, you know, nectar with discount, discounted nectar. So, and they destroy their lives because of that illusion. But devotees are not, you know, Devotees are thinking, yeah, what the hell? Why should I poison myself and also pay money on the top? Maya is not even giving people free poison. They have to pay for it. Devotees have no interest in these things, right? And so, yeah, if you have no desires, then Maya cannot catch you. So, complete freedom. What a great benefit. And Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, which means Shreya. What's the difference between Shreya and Preya? Yeah. Yeah. Prayas is something which is very short term and ends with disaster. And Shreyas is something which is giving eternal benefit. Kairava. Kairava means lotus, one of the words in Sanskrit referring to lotus. Chandrika Vitaranam, white lotus, which opens up only at night under the rays of the moon. So the white lotus of good fortune opens up, Shreya. So once you start practicing Krishna consciousness, you become so fortunate. Anyone can give examples of different types of fortune we enjoy as devotees.
Association, I would say.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing devotees, right? Such amazing people we have in this movement. Yes, devotee association, yes, this is first and foremost benefit. Any other benefits? Prasadam, of course, yeah, how can we forget prasadam? Anything else? Kirtan, yes. Chanting and dancing, you know, what kind of life we are living, especially those devotees who live in the temple, right? 4:30 in the morning is chanting and dancing. Chanting and dancing, this is start of the day, and then you have a short break, and you're not doing anything special, you're just chanting Hare Krishna. And chanting japa is not very hard work. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to think about anything. Just relax and chant Hare Krishna, right? And then again, chanting and dancing again. And then what is Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam is a discussion which is aimed at understanding how do we manage our lives in such a way that we do nothing else but chanting and dancing our whole life. This is Bhagavatam, right? What shall we do to make sure that there is nothing else besides chanting and dancing? And so there are unlimited benefits. And Vidyavadu Jivanam, what does it mean? What's the meaning of Vidyavadu Jivanam? Anyone knows?
Vidya means knowledge.
Yes.
Pride.
Yes. Yeah, Vidyavadu Jivanam means knowledge, which is the wife of life, right? Which is constant companion of our life. So it is not just theoretical knowledge, but it is very practical knowledge. I mean, people are saying it's not important what you know, but more important is who you know. And whom devotees know? Krishna. So that's most important knowledge. Krishna is the Lord. I am his servant. Like Prabhupada was, one man in early days approached him for initiation, and Prabhupada made an initiation test. He said, Swamiji, I want to get initiated. Prabhupada said, do you know who is Krishna? That boy said, Krishna is Supreme Lord. And you know who you are? I am his servant. Okay, you are qualified. Yeah. Everything we need to know, right? Basically, Prabhupada put it in a very interesting formula. Krishna is God, you are not. Only 2 points we need to learn in life. And that's enough. And so, if we know Krishna, we don't need to know anything else. Because Krishna knows everything else, right? Like in Russia, again. Russia is an interesting country in terms of Krishna consciousness. You have to fully surrender to Krishna to survive there. Otherwise, no chances.
Otherwise, you have Putana.
And so, one devotee, he was coming from Armenia, he moved to Russia, and then, you know, he was told by another devotee that you should get Russian citizenship. You should get naturalized as Russian citizen. And so, no, actually, not another devotee, but, you know, he had, that's a very long story, what happened to him. Basically, Krishna appeared in front of him and he said, go and apply for your Russian citizenship. Yeah, and, you know, he had voice, Krishna's voice telling him, Paramatma's voice. And then he went to the office, passport office, and he said, you know, I want to apply for Russian citizenship. And they checked his, you know, they spoke to him and they said, you're not really qualified for that. And he said, but what can I do? Because Krishna sent me here and Krishna told me, you have to apply for your citizenship. And believe it or not, this lady in the passport office, she said, well, if Krishna sent you, okay, we'll consider. And he got his passport. And so, yeah, that's enough to know Krishna and our relationship with Krishna. Everything else is less important, or you don't even need to know anything else. And next one is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. What does it mean? Ananda, bliss, Buddhi, ocean, ocean of bliss, all increasing. Vardhanam means expanding, expanding ocean of bliss, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. This is what Krishna consciousness is, right? Devotees are, you know, other people's life is so static, so boring, but devotee's life is not static, it is ecstatic, right? Devotees are so happy because Krishna is happy, so devotees associating with Krishna, and they also become happy. And it's quite amazing, you know, people cannot become happy by trying so hard, but devotees can become happy just by taking little prasadam or taking, you know, part in kirtan, what to speak of Charanamrita and other things. And so, next one is Pratipada Purna Amrita Swadanam. That means that such devotee enjoys nectar at every step of his life, right? And it's natural. If you live such a wonderful lifestyle and if you are happy in Krishna consciousness, then automatically you will experience nectar at every step of your life. Because you will carry that consciousness with you. And of course, the topmost, the seventh benefit is Sarvatma Snapadam Param, that you can realize your eternal identity as spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. So that's why Krishna consciousness is the most amazing thing. Nothing more beneficial could ever happen to us in our lives. And it's good to realize that, to become serious in our practices ourselves, and then we can share real life experience with other people, how wonderful Krishna consciousness is, and automatically they will become interested to take it up. Hare Krishna. Apologies for speaking for a little long.
Jai Shri Radhe. Okay, can you raise your hands? Bolo Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Bolo Go Nitai Ki. So Maharaj, it's Aarti time, so I won't invite any questions. But if you do want to ask questions to Maharaj, Maharaj will be sitting in this small room there. And then, but we are going to do Kirtan, Aarti first. And then later on, if anybody's got a question, they can ask you. You're not rushing to go away, Maharaj? That's
Even
good.
though I'm Russian, but I'm not.
That's a good answer, yes. What was that? Oh, you want me to glorify Maharaj? His Holiness Bhakti Rasayan Sagar Maharaj ki. Yeah, I just so friendly with him, I forgot the formality. Okay, did you enjoy the class? It was really nice. And what I'm enjoying is all these people coming to hear you, Maharaj. Normally we get 3 people. Just joking. You said me. No, but this is really good. And thank you all for coming. There's going to be feast afterwards. It's a Kachi as well. But for now, if you can all stand up, we're going to do Aarti. I request keep the Aarti pretty short, because otherwise we're going to go very late, because we've got to cut the cakes as well. People have traveled from London and all that, so we'll manage it somehow. Thank you very much. So, Nita Kirtan Prabhu, if you can keep it. You know, maybe just do singly rather than repeat. Until what time? Oh yeah, you can.
Say the same for you.
What did you say?
Shri Shri Sachinandan Nitai Chan Ke Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nite Namine Namah
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta
Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste
Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Deshatarine
Shiva Jaya
Jaya Gaura Chande Arati ko shobha Kiba Jaya
Arati ko shobha
Janavi tatavane Jagamana lava Janavi Dakineni tai chan Bame gadagara Nikate advaitashini Vasachatadara Nikate advaitashini Vashe Achem Gaurachan Ratna Singhasane Bose Arati Karena Brahma Adi Devagane Arati Karena Dara Hari Adi Kali Jamaradulaya Nara Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Gosadidaya Baje karatala Shankar Baje Mathura me danda baje Param rasala Ganta baje, madhur 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 baje, Ganta baje, ganta baje, madhur 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 baje, Madhu, 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 Bhaje Madhu, 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 Bhaje Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol Bahu Kati Chanda Dini Badana Ujvala
Bahu Koti Chandra Dini Badana Ujvala
Gala Deshe Bana Mala Kare Jala Mala Gala Deshe Bana Kare Jala Mala Shiva Sukha Narada Preme Gada Gada Bhakti Vinodadeke Gaura Rasampada
Bhakti Vinodadeke Gaura Rasampada
Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati Kosoba Jaya Jagamanalaba Gaurangera Rati Shobha Jagajanamanalaba Gaurangera Rati Shobha Jagajanamanalaba Gaurangera Rati Shobha Jagajanamanalaba Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna
Tanno Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram
Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga
Nitai Gauranga Jayo Nitai Gauranga
Jai Jai Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga
Nitai Gauranga Jayo Nitai Gauranga
Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra
Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Swami Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Swami Jagannath Jai Baladev Jai Subhadra Jai Baladev Jai Subhadra Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath, Swami Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath.
Jagannath, 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 Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jagannath, 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 Jagannath,
Jagannath, Jagannath, Jagannath.
Baladev Subhadra, Baladev Subhadra.
Baladev, Subhadra,
Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe.
Jaya Radha, Madhava, Radha, Madhava, Radhe.
Jaya Radha Shama Sundara, Radha Shama Sundara, Radhe.
Jaya Radha, Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radhe.
Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan.
Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan.
Jaya Shri Madhusudan, Shri Madhusudan, Shri Madhusudan, Jaya Shri Madhusudan.
Shri Madhusudan, Shri Madhusudan, Shri Madhusudan, Jaya Shri Madhusudan.
Jaya Mani Ma, Mani Ma, Mani Ma, Jaya Mani Ma.
Jaya Mani Ma, Mani Ma, Mani Ma, Jaya Mani Ma.
Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Bo, Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Bo.
Radha Ramana Hari Bo, Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Bo.
Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Bo, Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Bo.
Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Bo, Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Bo.
Jaya Sita Rama Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Rama Lakshman Hanuman.
Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman.
Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman.
Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman.
Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jagat Guru. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Jai Gurudev, 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajacharya Statarshata Shishyamatridani Goswami Avai Charan Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Lila Pramvishnom Shishyamatridani Goswami Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Shishi Guru Parampara Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai नवाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण राधा माधव गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की शिवराज भूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री मयपुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा देवी मुनमाय की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ISKCON गुरु वृंद की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Maharaj ki. Okay, can you arrange it? Can you arrange a chair for Maharaj? So I'm going to ask, going to sing Namaste for your mother. All those who need help, we're praying to Lord Nrsingadev. And, you know, Maharaj was admiring Lord Nrsingadev here. And I said, whenever somebody gets ill, we pray to Lord Nrsingadev, and they do recover. It's wonderful. So it was Radharoop's birthday on Friday, wasn't it? Friday. And then her daughter is going to sing Namaste for her.
Namaste Narasingaya. Vilaya Tatayane. Hiranyakashi Pulukshiya. Shiyatangala Nasingo balato nasingo. Yutu yutu yamita to nasingo. Pahi nasingo ire nasingo. Narsingamadim shadaram Tava kala kamala vale nakam hakukashi gaya dalita hiyanya kashu dalavinga ha keshavalita dalaharupa jagalisha he jaya jagadisha le jaya jagadisha le. Kuludev. Sagola Haribo, 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 Sagola Haribo, Haribo. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Narasimha Deva ki, Maharaj ki, Prabhupada ki, Maharaj ki, Tagore Brahmana